friends, welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Thank you so much for coming back if you've been here before. If you are new to the channel, every week I post a new pick a card reading and I let you decide what you want to see next. So make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, especially subscribe so you can see the community post and you can see the poll of what is going to be done next week. This week, the poll winner was all about your next relationship. So we are going to look at your next relationship and all of the information that wants to come through. For this reading, I have 3 piles. Pile number 1 is the Jack and Sally sticker. Pile number 2 is Gomez and Morticia Addams. And pile number 3 is Megara and Hercules. So pause the video if you need to and ask yourself which pile or maybe piles have a message for you. And let's talk about what you can expect in this reading. So for this reading, we are going to open up by looking at who you are, and that's supposed to help you verify that the pile that you have picked is the right one for you. We are then going to look at your person. Who is this person? Who is this person that you're going to be in this relationship with? Then we're going to move into how will you meet each other. We're going to look at their first impression of you and your first impression of them. We are going to look at the spark, the attraction. How are you attracted to one another? What is that spark like between the two of you? We are going to move into how you complement one another, how you get along, how you complement each other, if you will. We're then going to look at the mirror that this person holds up to you. So what do they reflect back to you? We will then move into how will you experience joy together? So what are those joyful moments going to be? How will you connect and experience that happiness together? Then we're going to look at your love language together. We're going to move into the growth that you will experience. So this is how this connection will change you. We're going to look at the potential here. So what is your potential together? Is this something that's long term? Is this something shorter term? What's going on? What's the potential together for both of you? And we are going to close the reading out with some oracle cards that are pre-shuffled. This is one of the readings where I will be shuffling live on camera. And I haven't decided which pile is getting which deck yet, so I'm going to kind of allow that to come through as I record each pile. But if this sounds like something that you want to hear more about, if this sounds like something that you are seeking more information on at this time, stick around. We are about to get started. If this is where you leave me, I hope you have a wonderful week and I hope you come back soon. But let's jump into the reading. Hello, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you were drawn to the Jack and Sally sticker. I'm going to place that right over there. As a reminder, this is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know yourself best. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. I did do a reading breakdown at the beginning that is meant to give you information on what is going to be covered in this reading and the format. So I highly suggest that you check that out. But to get started, we are going to look at who you are and who this person is. And it could be that your energy is here and their energy is here, but my intention is that you, my viewer, are on the left and your person is on the right. But again, they can flip-flop. But if this doesn't sound like you and this doesn't sound like you, this is probably not your pile. So try choosing a different one. Let's get started. So person number 1, we have the camel, we have the crow, and we also have abundance. For person number 2, we have the black egg, we have the lizard, and we have forgive. So pile number 1, I am going to refer to this person as the camel person and to this person as the black egg person. But let's get started. So I want to start by talking about the camel person. So in this deck, I will mention some of the zodiac signs, and I'm not basing the zodiac signs on the actual animal. I am basing it on the element on the card. So for the camel, we have fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. With the crow, we do have air energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And I would say with this abundance card, this could absolutely be more fire energy. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, again represented there. But who is my camel person? This is someone that is very independent. This is someone that is also very much self aware. This is someone that knows who they are, what makes them tick. And this is somebody that knows how to be in touch with themselves. This is somebody that has a lot of self knowledge, a lot of self awareness. I will also say for this camel person, I do think this is somebody that is very intelligent and wise, right? There is a difference between intellect and wisdom. And I think that this camel person does possess both of those qualities. And I will also say, I think that there's something about this camel person that they seem very grounded, very much put together. Regardless of what's happening around them, it feels like the camel person is always showing up in a way that feels very present, very grounded, even very content with the life that they have and the opportunities that they've had. And I will say, even if this person has goals and ambitions that they still have yet to kind of see through or they haven't come true for them just yet, this camel person is able to see the bright side, right? This camel person is able to see the glass is half full instead of half empty. And this is someone that is always seeking to operate from a place of gratitude and from a place of it could be worse. Like there is something about this person that feels like somebody that is always looking for the bright side and always looking for ways to improve on their own experience, but also they want to be grateful. Like I think this is somebody that is very grateful for what they do have while acknowledging that there are things that they are still working towards. I will also say the camel person is very independent. This is somebody who's very self-reliant. This is someone who is used to having to take care of themselves. I don't think that the camel person is necessarily used to other people stepping up and like giving them things or doing things for them. Like this feels like the type of person that is the one that's always showing up and being there for others and being everything to others. For some, it could be that the camel person is an only child, or this could even be like the oldest sibling of the group. This is somebody that was probably described as an old soul growing up or was very mature for their age. And I do think for some, there was a level of that's how the camel person had to operate, which isn't always such a good thing, but this person made the best out of the circumstances and out of the situation they were in. I will also say one thing about the camel person that's coming through is make sure if you are the camel, you are drinking enough water. It can be easy to become dehydrated. For some, this camel person is a bit of an introvert, and this could be somebody that's also a bit of a night owl is what's coming through here. And I also think that the camel person is very much aware of their of the power of their reaction. Like this isn't somebody who's going to give a reaction to someone else because that is what the other person wants. This is somebody who is very aware that they get to control their reaction. They get to control how other people affect them. And there's a lot of power in that for this camel person. And I will also say the camel person is very resourceful. That's coming through here. So this is somebody that even if they don't have all of the resources that they would want to have, they're always going to find a way to make things work. They're always going to find a way to make ends meet. So there's something very resourceful about this person. And I also think that they do have a very abundant energy, even in the times where they've struggled, the camel person always has a very abundant energy about them. And I do think there is an element of things working out, of things coming together, even if it's at the last minute. And I think that's because this camel person is very spiritually connected and very spiritually in tune with the divine, with the universe, with a higher power. This does feel like somebody that is very spiritual and very intentionally spiritual. I also think that the camel person does have strong intuitive psychic gifts. How that shows up is going to be different things for different people, but I do think clairsentience, clear feeling, clear cognizance, clear knowing, even clairvoyance, clear seeing are big gifts that this camel person has. It may be different things for different people, but there is some psychic intuitive gift that is very active here for this camel person. I will also say that the camel person comes across as very strong, very confident, very secure within themselves, even if that is not how they are feeling. And for some, this camel person has had very supernatural experiences. It's very interesting because I was guided to put that like Jack and Sally um, sticker with this group, and it does feel like very just supernatural, very mysterious, very like Samhain type of vibes to this camel person. And I will say to both of these people, there's a lot of like spiritual connection. And I do think that these are two people that really enjoy the fall time and Samhain or Halloween, All Hallows Eve. But going back to this camel person, I also think that this is somebody, for some, this camel person has a strong connection to the divine feminine as well as goddess energy. This is somebody that has very, for the most part, this person's chakras are very balanced as well. And I do think at times the camel person does need a little bit of a timeout, a little bit of a break to kind of regroup and go within. But this is somebody that really knows their needs and knows exactly what they need for themselves in order to be well and to thrive. But a lot of self-knowledge, a lot of just wanting to know self at a deeper level. But let's talk about this black egg person because I do think that these two have quite a bit in common. And when it comes to the black egg, I do want to mention some zodiac signs, which I will say in this deck, the black egg is a spirit card, so all 12 zodiac signs are represented. But with the lizard card, it is represented by the element of fire, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, very, very heavy here, along with the forgive card, which I would say that's a little bit of either earth or water energy, so Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, or Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. But let's talk about this black egg person because I think that these two have so much in common. And a lot of what they have in common is their ability to know themselves and to know who they are and what makes them tick, what triggers them. But also, what these two have in common is their intellect and their curiosity for self discovery and for self mastery. That's how I would put this for these two. I do think that for the black egg person, making sure that they are aligned to their truth and they are living their truth is one of the most important things to this person. I also think that this black egg person really is always kind of going within to figure out what the right next move is. And this does feel like somebody that does take their time when it comes to making a move or making a decision. And it does feel like this is someone that wants to make sure that they're doing the right thing for themselves. I would not be surprised if this black egg person is some sort of creative. It could be a writer, especially, but it could be something connected to music, public speaking, writing, storytelling of some sort. Maybe even social media for this person. But this black egg person is someone that is always asking questions and always wanting to learn more, know more, and experience more. That's coming through very loud and clear here. And I also think that one thing about the black egg person is they try not to speak, they try not to share an opinion or make a choice until they are 100% sure about what they want to do. This is someone that does not participate in gossip. This is someone that does not like gossip or petty drama, so they are going to move away from it. This is also someone that does like spending a good amount of time on their own. And I will say there's something very almost mysterious about this black egg person. This is also someone that's very instinctual. I do think they have very good instincts. They're very good at reading people and reading energy around them. I also think that this is someone that is very artistic. Also, this is a bit of a dreamer. Like this person has very clear dreams, very clear hopes. This is someone that is also optimistic, and they want to manifest very almost like magical things. Like this person wants so many things that other people may like look at them and say like you're never going to do that. But the black egg person knows that they will do that and they will get what they want, and they're going to do it through hard work. But also on top of the hard work, they're going to do it by following their instincts, their intuition, and by allowing the universe to lead the way. I also think that this is someone that is not going to commit unless they are 100% sure. So I will say, pile number one, this black egg person, they are going to take their time. They take their time with everything that they do. So this isn't somebody that's going to rush into a commitment. This isn't going to be someone that's going to rush into signing a contract or starting a relationship. Like they're going to take their time to make sure that they are doing the right thing for them. This black egg person is also someone that's very spiritual, very much like the camel person. These two really mirror one another in very interesting ways. Like the way that the energies show up are somewhat different, but overall the energy is also very similar with these two. And I will say something about the black egg person is they can get a bit lost in their creation. So when they are going through that creative spark, they can kind of go through and kind of lose themselves in that moment, which is part of their creative process, I would say. But pile number one, let's start your reading. I am going to be using the Wild Reflections Tarot. Let's take a look at what we have here because we're going to look at how will you meet? How are you going to meet each other? How are you going to connect with one another? Let's do it this way because that way is not happening. There we go. So how will my pile number ones meet? How will my pile number ones meet? For my pile number ones, how will my pile number ones meet? Let's see what we have here. Bottom of the deck, the Six of Wands. I'm going to move that there, move that there. Then we also have the Three of Pentacles. The Queen of Wands. Okay. And the Queen of Pentacles. So pile number one, when it comes to how will you meet your person, I do think this is one of those you're going to meet. This doesn't feel like something that happens online or on a dating app. This feels like you meet this person in your real life, right? Let's do the quotations around that. But in your real life, there is a chance that you are going to meet this person either through a friend or a friend group, meaning that this person could already be adjacent to some sort of group that you or community that you are a part of. This could be somebody that a friend of a friend knows, or, this could be somebody that maybe a family member knows or a loved one already knows, and they're kind of in your circle in that way. For some of you, this is also somebody that there is an opportunity that you meet them after you join a community where this person is also a part of that community. I do feel like for those of you where you meet as part of a community that you join, this feels like it has to do with like some sort of creativity or some sort of like spiritual endeavor. It's going to be different things for different people, but it does feel like you meet this person at some sort of event where there are many other people there. And it feels like it may be an outdoors event, or it may be like, for some of you, you may meet this person at like a beach or like a farmer's market or a festival, a carnival. Maybe there is like a running, I'm seeing a 5K. So if somebody is a runner or somebody is thinking about starting to run or do marathons, you meet this person at either the actual marathon or some sort of training event. For some of you, it's something outdoors. Maybe you join a hiking group. It just feels like there are other people there and there is a shared interest. You are there, you are both there for a purpose. Or again, for some of you, you meet this person because they are already in the circle of a friend or a loved one, and they are there when you are there. This person brings them in. This person introduces you, but you are both there to do an activity. You are both there for a purpose, and you just happen to meet. So this doesn't feel like a friend necessarily sets you up and you go out on a date to meet one another. This feels like you're all together and it's like, oh, hey, so-and-so, have you met so-and-so? And you get to connect in that way. That's coming through. I also think that when you meet, there is a little bit of it's not what you're there to do. So you are not necessarily there to meet someone. You are not necessarily there with the intention of finding someone to date or finding someone to connect to. So in that way, it does feel like it's a bit unexpected. Like it just happens. It's like the stars aligned and you are both in the same place at the same time. And it leads you both to making this connection. I do think that when you meet your person, pile number one, you are both going to be feeling very good about yourselves. You are both going to be in this like very harmonious, centered, grounded place. And I also think that you're going to be feeling pretty confident about yourself. So this feels like a very good time. I don't feel necessarily too much nerves happening here. It just feels like both of you are exactly where you are meant to be. I'm going to spend a lot of time fixing these cards. All right, so pile number one, let's take a look at what their first impression of you is. For my pile number ones, what is their person's first impression of them? Once they meet, what's the first impression? It's this one. All right, let's see what's underneath the deck. The 5 of Swords. Very interesting. Let's see what else we have here. The Star card. Okay. The 3 of Wands. The Death card. Pile number one. You're going to kind of just shake this person's existence up. Because we have to look at the bigger picture. I do want to talk about this 5 of Swords being at the bottom of the deck, because the bottom of the deck, if you've had a personal reading with me, you know this about me, but the bottom of the deck tells me what's going on as we are answering this question, right? What is the base of this, of what's happening here? So to have the 5 of Swords here, I do think that your person is going to be completely not expecting this. I also think that this person is not going to be in a place where they're necessarily looking for a relationship or they're necessarily looking to meet someone to date. And I did say that at the beginning. I think both of you, when you show up to this event, when you meet one another, you're not going to be looking for a relationship. You're not going to be looking for a connection. And it almost feels like for your person, they are in a place where they're kind of just going with the flow, especially when it comes to love and relationships. The star card being here to me speaks to you're going to take their breath away and you are going to catch their attention. This is going to be one of those situations where they are going to be attracted to you. They are going to feel that attraction, like the butterflies. I have a friend who says the dolphins, the butterflies, the dolphins, whatever you want to call it. But the star card is also like starstruck, right? Like, I cannot believe this person is here. This person is beautiful. This person is fun. This person is just great to talk to. I want to know more. Because we also have the Three of Wands, and the Three of Wands is looking forward to, right? It's energy manifested, but it's also looking forward to receiving what you have manifested and to exploring what comes next. So with this Three of Wands being here, your person is going to be so optimistic and they're going to be so excited that it feels like they know from your first impression from the meeting, this is not where I want this to end. I want this to continue. I want to get to know this person. I want to know more about them. I want to see them. So there is this energy here right immediately of, man, this is not necessarily what I was looking for. I'm not in a place where this is what I was seeking, but it's here and I want to move forward with it. And I think that's why the Death card is here, because this is a transformation. You transform their outlook. This is somebody who was not necessarily looking to date. This is somebody that wasn't necessarily looking to explore love and relationships. But by the end of your meeting, your first meeting, right, that first impression is, you know what? I'm open to this. I'm open to wanting more. So I do feel like your person is going to ask for your number, that your person is going to make it known very early on that they are interested, that they want to know more, that they want to explore more. And they're not going to let you go without trying to lock in either some sort of date or at least another conversation. I also do feel like they're going to make it a point to really talk to you and spend as much time with you as they possibly can. And this is going to come as a surprise to them because they are in a place where they were not necessarily super open to kind of dating and getting to know someone when you meet. But we're going to look at your first impression of them. For my pile number ones, what is going to be my pile number one's first impression of their person? Bottom of the deck, what do we have? The Eight of Cups. You are both in that same place of like, you're both not necessarily expecting to meet someone, and you both may be in a place where you're not necessarily super seeking it, because with the Eight of Cups at the bottom of the deck here, you are also focused on yourself, but I feel like the focus on self is slightly different, where it feels like your person is coming more from a place of like, I just don't want to deal with it. You are in a place of, I'm choosing myself, I'm loving myself, I'm doing everything that I need to do for myself, and boom, then you meet this person. Let's see what else we have here. The Five of Wands, the Two of Pentacles, and the Queen of Cups. So pile number one, you are absolutely going to like this person, right? You're going to like this person that you're going to be in a relationship with. You are going to be attracted to them. You are going to notice them. The butterflies, as I said, my friend always says the dolphins. So the butterfly, the dolphins, whatever you want to call it, it's there. That excitement, that anticipation, that attraction is there. But I also think that for you, part of your first impression may be a little bit of like, this may be a bit too good to be true, or maybe I'm going to play it cool because what if they're already in a relationship? What if they're already like seeing someone? And I also feel like for you, pile number one, this first impression is a little bit going back and forth of, I do want to explore this, but also I want to play it cool. I want to play it safe. But with this Queen of Cups being here, the attraction is here, the curiosity is here, the anticipation is here. I just think that for you, pile number one, Your first impression is more of like, keep it cool, keep it calm. Don't get too excited here. Allow this to unfold naturally. But I also think that the excitement is here and the desire to explore this more is here. But it feels like this is more of like intrusive thoughts coming in and saying like, let's play it cool. Let's take it slow. And I also think that there is a level here as far as the first impression, again, of just not wanting to get too excited in case this person is not single. And also, I do think there is a level of like, you know what, I was focusing on myself, I was doing my own thing, and now this comes in, and it almost feels like, is this a test from the universe? Is this like a lesson that's trying to come in? Or am I reading too much into this? But the attraction is there, the curiosity is there, and I do think that you're going to give this person the time of day. I do think that you're going to spend a good amount of time talking to them. I do think that you're going to spend a good amount of time with each other during this day, like talking and getting to know one another. And I do think that you're going to give them like your phone number and just give them all of I was going to say all of your information, but just give them your information to keep in touch. Let's take a look at what the spark is here. So when it comes to the attraction, the spark, how is this attraction going to unfold? What is this attraction between the two of you? It's not all of them, I promise. Sometimes they get stuck. All right, pile number 1, the 3 of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Now, I'm curious. We're going to see what else is here. The 2 of Swords, the 7 of Pentacles, and the 7 of Cups. See, I said this at the beginning. I do think for both of you, especially for whoever the black egg person is, and I think for most of you, the black egg person is going to be your partner, the person that you're going to be in the relationship with. I do think this is going to be a relationship where there is caution, right? Where you are both being mindful, you are both being careful. Why is that? Because you've both been burned. If not both of you, one of you, but I have to say for my pile number 1s, because of the energies here, I do feel like it's both of you, where you've gotten hurt, you've been burned by someone, you've been betrayed, someone didn't play nice, someone really broke your heart in some way. Again, that could be for one or both of you. For most of you, it's going to be both of you. So when it comes to the attraction, you are both attracted to one another. But I also feel like you're going to make it a point to allow this to unfold very naturally, very organically. So this doesn't feel like the type of connection where you meet today and then next week you're just spending every single day together. This feels like both people are very independent. Both people really like their space. And both people are being very cautious, especially because I think for one or both of you, you weren't necessarily seeking a relationship. You weren't necessarily seeking a partnership at this point in time. Why? Because there has been some hurt here. There has been some level of connecting with one person or maybe more than one person that wasn't necessarily the nicest or wasn't necessarily the most trustworthy. So it does feel like for this group, a big thing that's coming through is the attraction is going to be there, but you both are very cautious. And I think for both of you, you are looking for something that is going to stand the test of time. You're not just looking for passion in the physical sense. You are looking for deep spiritual connection. So this does feel like a relationship and a attraction that you are both going to be very mindful and very careful to take your time with. Again, self-protection, self-preservation is a big part of this, but also not wanting to rush into anything. And you're both going to really take your time in getting to know one another and explore the connection. I also do think for both of you, this is going to be a relationship where there is a level of learning to trust the other person and learning to go with the flow. So this does feel like this is a attraction that is there from the beginning, but in the way that you both allow yourselves to explore it, it's very much taking your time and allowing it to unfold naturally. That's why the 7 of Pentacles is there. So this is about going on dates, right? Like we're going to plan a date. It's not going to be back to back. We're spending all day together. But at the very beginning, we're going to plan dates. We're going to be very intentional, but we're also going to give each other space, right? Because I do think that for both of you, you are also very busy people that have a lot of things going on. And this feels like it's going to unfold in a way that next thing you know, you're spending more and more time with one another. But you're also being like, there is a level of caution here from both sides. I want to see what's underneath there. Yeah, because you're both wanting to build something new, but you're wanting to build something that's going to stand the test of time, not something that is going to burn bright, but also burn out really fast. Let's take a look at how you complement each other. So how do you complement one another, just personality wise, or it could be physically? We're going to see what comes up here. We're going to ask the question and allow it to be answered in the best way possible. So for my pile number ones, how do my pile number ones complement each other? I'm actually hearing 2. We're going to do 2 for this portion. 4 of Swords. You know what? That's one thing I think is very important for this group, is that you both have very similar personalities and you both have very similar needs. So I think part of how you complement one another is knowing what the other person needs and understanding that without judgment. So I think that this is a relationship where you're going to, again, allow it to unfold very naturally, very organically. And part of that means giving each other space. Now, I do think this is a connection where you are talking every single day, even if it's just a quick like checking in text. But I also think this is a relationship, a partnership where, especially at the beginning, you give each other the space that you need and you understand where the other person is coming from. Whether it's, I'm busy today, or I already had plans, or like, let's just plan something for tomorrow. There's a lot of grace that these two offer one another. Let's take a look at what else we have here. The Lovers. Yeah. The 5 of Pentacles. Pile number one thing about this is going to be a soulmate. This is going to be, for some of you, this is even a divine counterpart. So this person is going to understand where you are coming from. And I also think that for this group, there is a big message here around this person understanding how your energy works. And I think for some of you, this may translate to, I just need a break and I just need some alone time. And for others of you, this may translate to, you know what? I don't really want to go out today. I just want to stay in. Let's read a book. Let's do something chill. Let's do something low key. There is a lot of understanding one another and having a very similar energetic output and energetic needs that is going to happen here. That is part of how you complement one another. I also think that you are going to share hobbies, interests with this person, and there's going to be a lot of connection that is built through that. I would not be surprised if both of you are like writers or creatives in some way, shape, or form. Even if that's not like your main job or how you make your money, I do think there is something creative here for both of you. And as far as how you complement one another, there's a lot of understanding. There's a lot of compassion. There's a lot of grace that you offer one another, and also just your energetic, like your energy levels, your energetic blueprint is very similar to one another. With the 5 of Pentacles, I also think that you both really understand each other at a deep level. This feels like a relationship or a partnership that is based on like deep mutual understanding. And I think that you're going to be able to talk about a lot of things that maybe in previous relationships and connections you either were not able to talk about or the other person just didn't understand. But let's take a look at what this mirror is. What is this person going to reflect back to you? Bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Cups. Yeah, for some of you, you've even shared past lives with this person. If you believe in past lives, that's coming through. So this could be someone that you've shared a past life with. This could be someone that is a soulmate, a divine counterpart. The Hermit card, the Two of Cups. We have the Lovers and the Two of Cups coming up here. The Four of Cups. So pile number one, when it comes to what they reflect back to you, I think that they have a very similar upbringing. I also think they have very similar life experiences to you. I said this at the beginning when I was talking about the camel and the black egg person. There is so much that these two have in common. The way that the energy shows up, like the way that it manifests in real life, may be different, but the energies themselves are very similar. So when it comes to what this person reflects back to you, I think what's going to be beautiful is that this person is going to reflect back to you the love that you feel for them. So when you are deeper into the relationship, as you establish this relationship, and even at the beginning, this person is going to reflect back what you are putting out. So there is a level of an equal give and take here, which I think is going to be very nice for this group, because I don't think all of you have always had that. I do think that for some of you, you've put more into a relationship than what has been given back to you. So having this opportunity where someone is investing the same amount of time and energy and the same amount of effort and even the same amount of emotion is going to feel very good. I also think that this person is going to reflect back to you a lot of that internal world that you don't necessarily share with anyone, that you keep to yourself. So there is a level of this person really seeing you for who you are, understanding you, and being able to sit in those depths with you. And that's something that you're going to do for them as well. That's coming through here, especially with the Four of Cups and the Hermit card. I also think that what this person is going to reflect back to you and how you are going to connect with one another is by both of you being able to show up and offer each other something different than what you have received in the past in relationships. And there is like a richness that this person is going to bring to your life. I also think when it comes to your creative endeavors, if you are a creative and you resonate with that message, I do think there is a opportunity for some of you to collaborate with this person during the relationship, throughout the relationship. And for some of you, you're going to kind of be a muse to them. And it could be that they are a muse to you as well. But I am kind of hearing that word muse. Somebody is going to be a muse to the other. And it could be a two-way street. We have that Ace of Cups. Yeah, there's a lot of love. There's a lot of love that is going to be reflected back at you, but also in the form of self-love, in the form of you seeing yourself through the eyes of this person. And you're going to offer that to them as well. See, this is a very deep one, right? Like this is a very deep type of connection that's coming through. I actually love this for you, pile number one, if that's what you're looking for. So how will you experience joy together? How will you experience joy together in this relationship? Bottom of the deck, the Knight of Swords. I think a big thing for this partnership for both of you is intellectual and understanding each other intellectually, being able to connect at an intellectual level, being able to talk about things, being able to really truly understand and get what the other person is saying and communicating. The High Priestess, the Ace of Wands, and the Emperor card. So pile number one, when it comes to how you will experience joy together, it's more of what I was just saying with this Knight of Swords. I do think that both of you have very similar interests. I also think that you both really enjoy just talking to someone at a deep level, getting to know someone at a very deep level. With the High Priestess here, part of what is going to bring joy is the depth of the connection. It's the fact that you have someone that sees you, knows you, understands you, and accepts you for who you are. There is a deep level of I see you, I hear you, I understand you, I love you, right? Like I am here for you, I am accepting of you. I see what other people can't even see because I can see what's underneath the surface because you allow me to see that part of yourself. And I do think for this group, for one or both of you, you have dealt with feeling misunderstood or feeling like people purposely misunderstood you or they just couldn't get you. And I think that that experience was for some of you very isolating, and finding someone that is not only willing to see you and understand you, but they want to and they naturally see you and understand you is going to be such a beautiful gift. And I also think that when it comes to joy, a lot of joy is going to be had with the life that you are going to build together and the little adventures that you're going to go on. I don't feel like this is a group where going out and partying or like being out and about is necessarily going to be the thing that you both want to do the most, but you will have space to explore and to build a life together that is going to be very, very just empowering and very comforting to you both. And I do think that you are going to we're going to get to the potential, but if I'm honest, like it does feel like there is a potential for long term, whether that is marriage, whether that is like a life partner. I do think for this group there is a potential here for long term, but we're going to get there, right? We're going to be patient. Let's take a look at your love language together. So what is your love language? How will you express your love to one another? Your love language together. Bottom of the deck, the Knight of Pentacles, Eight of Cups, Knight of Cups, the World card. I do think for this group, words of affirmation is going to be very important. I think that you are both going to encourage one another. I also think that this is a group where you are telling one another, like, I love you. That's going to be part of how you communicate, how you talk to one another, how you just how you connect. I also think that when it comes to love languages, acts of service is going to be a big one for this group. Whether that is I went and I got the gas for you, I went and I got dinner, or, you know, I went and I ran that errand, I went and took the dog to the vet so you don't have to worry about it. It feels like acts of service is a big one here. But I would say words of affirmation, acts of service, physical touch is also coming through as important for this group, as something that you bond and connect over. I do especially think that cuddling for both of you is going to be like really important. And like I do think that you coming home from work and you both coming home from work after a long day, it's like let's cuddle, and that just feels like one of the love languages as well. Physical touch, words of affirmation, acts of service is coming through here very strongly. So let's take a look at the growth. And this is going to be, how will this connection, this relationship change you, pile number one? So how will this connection relationship change my pile number ones? Bottom of the deck, the Ace of Cups, right? You're going to feel loved. You're going to feel cherished. You're also going to, as a result of this connection, love yourself more, right? Because this person is pouring so much love into you that it allows you to pour into yourself, right? We have this Nine of Wands, the Moon card, and the Four of Wands. So how is this connection going to change you? I think this connection is going to bring in a lot more support than what you are used to. And I think this Nine of Wands is actually here because this connection is going to change you, where you are going to notice that you don't have to go at it alone, that you don't have to be the one that's responsible for everything, and that you don't always have to be the one to take on the responsibility. And I also think that this connection is going to make it easier for you to trust, especially for you to trust your partner. I also think that the Moon card is here because there's going to be a lot of healing as a result of this connection, especially healing around relationships, around trust, and around how you view yourself as well. The Four of Wands, this is like you reaching a milestone where it's you before this connection, you before this relationship, and the you after this relationship, because this is going to change you. This is going to shift your relationship with self. And I do think that this is going to be a relationship that you're going to see changes where you are more empowered, you are more at ease with yourself and within your own skin. Pile number one. I also think that you're going to be able to have a good time and not feel like you have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders as a result of this relationship. Let's take a look at your potential together. We're going to do that again because that was terrible. But your potential together in this relationship. What is the potential that you have together? For my pile number ones, what is their potential together? What is my pile number one's potential together? Bottom of the deck, the Nine of Pentacles. We have Temperance. We have the Seven of Wands. I want to see what's underneath the Eight of Pentacles. So pile number one, I do think personally there's a lot of long-term potential here. But I also think there's an important message coming through from Spirit, from the universe. And that is, don't focus on the potential. Don't focus on the outcome. Be fully present in this. Enjoy it for what it is. And enjoy it while you're in it. Don't go into this looking for, like, I want to be very careful how I word this because I know somebody's going to take it and twist it if I say it in the wrong way. And I want to make sure that I'm giving this message out very clearly. While I do think there's a lot of long-term potential, and you've seen everything that we've talked about, I've shuffled in front of you, you've seen the cards that we've got. I also think it's very important for this group not to go in with the expectation that, with any expectation for this relationship, because I think that this is going to be built based on what you both decide. And I do think that if you go into this with this expectation, or like trying to make this a life partner, or trying to make this like the person that you marry, you may miss the opportunity to enjoy it and create it very organically. So this is saying there is a lot of potential here, but it's also going to be dependent on what you create and what you decide you want to create together. And it's going to take some time to unfold. It's going to take some time to see it all the way through. So being patient with the process and being patient with both of yourselves is going to be very important in this connection. But I do think there is long-term potential here if you can remain present and you can deal with things as they come, instead of like leaning into, well, this is my person and I know this is going to be my end game. No, it's about being present in the present moment. Let's see what we have here with messages of love. Fate. This is a destined partnership. I do believe this, pile number one. I do believe this is somebody that you are at the very least meant to meet and connect with. Then we have warning. Don't dismiss the red flags here. So with this warning here, again, being present, looking at things, checking in every single day, making sure that you are like that you are addressing anything that comes up. But also this is saying like, don't, how do I want to say this? This is saying like, don't just go with the flow, like remain present and be fully present and fully grounded in the present moment with this relationship. Then we have soulmate. Your soulmate loves, accepts, and respects you unconditionally. That's here as well. For some of you with this warning red flags here, this is also saying be very intentional about the connection. So if there is someone and you really like them and you think they could be the one, but they're doing things that are kind of some red flags, that is not your person. So for some of you, there may be a little bit of like a imposter that comes through that may seem like this person, but they're not this person. So keep that in mind. Let's see what else we have here. We have faith. The angels are working behind the scenes to make this relationship flourish. So if you haven't met them yet, just know that the work is being done so that you can meet them. We have boundaries. You need to teach people how to treat you by being clear on what you will or won't allow. So being very clear on your boundaries and honoring those boundaries as well. Then we have stay optimistic. Oh, we have faith and stay optimistic. Positive thinking and faith will bring romance into your life. So especially for those of you where you may be waiting for a while, or it's like, you know, it hasn't happened yet. I do think for this group, it happens when you least expect it. And it also happens when you're not necessarily actively looking for it, but take that as it resonates. Let's see what we have here. So we have energy. So for some of you, maybe like Reiki or doing some energy work. I also think that this energy card is a reminder that you are both very similar energetically to one another. I do think pile number 1, for some of you, you're already connected to this person. With this energy card being here, if you are Reiki certified, or even if you're not, you can kind of just visualize yourself sending energy to your heart chakra. That could be very healing. Then we have Thoth with God of Wisdom. I'm not surprised to see this here because I do think you both have a lot of wisdom. I also think that you are both connected to one another. For those of you that journal or that feel like writing a letter to this person, even if you haven't met them yet, could be very helpful because I do think that you are connected to one another. For some of you working with the god Thoth, and I did say some of you could be writers or your person could be, and we have Thoth, which is the god that really works with writers as well. So we have pleasure. I give myself permission to feel pleasure, and I let that pleasure rush into my life in a decadent display of over-the-top abundance. Then I realize that pleasure has been waiting at my door for a long time. It's just that pleasure doesn't knock on doors because loud noises aren't super pleasant. We have levity. Laughter is the best legal medicine, and it looks like it's time for you to take a sweet, sweet hit of it. When someone annoys you or a plan goes awry, try finding something funny in there. And if you ever feel like the butt of the joke, remember that the only difference between someone laughing at you and someone laughing with you is that the first version, you're not laughing. You always have the option, so opt to lighten up. It's legal in almost 200 countries. And then we have cleansing. Feeling bogged down by the weight of the 1,000 thoughts, feelings, boxes of mystery objects lurking in the closets? Consider this a prescription to clean house, mentally, physically, literally, figuratively, and anything else that applies adverbially. It's hard to make room for new connections and experiences when every bit of your emotional space is cluttered with psychic bric-a-brac. So enjoy a major guilt-free flush out, and not to worry, you can always find new psychic bric-a-brac in the metaphorical clutter section of Craigslist. Pile number one thing I will say with the energy card and this cleansing card, doing some sort of cord cutting, doing a spiritual bath, doing Reiki, doing maybe even IET could be very helpful for this group in clearing out the energy. So even like candle magic, anything that you can do to clear out your energy field. And that could even be like a physical cleanse out of like getting rid of things, making space for this person to come in, I think would be very helpful. But pile number one, claim it in the comments. I give myself permission to experience joy. I give myself permission to experience joy because as you do that, you invite this person in, you allow this person to find you and you find them. But that is what I have for you. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let me know what you'd like to see next. I do keep a running list. Also, share the video if you think it's worth sharing. All of those things help me out so much and help the channel grow. And I am so grateful for you being here. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. I am sending so much love, so many blessings, and we will talk soon. Bye for now. Hello, pile number two. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you were drawn to the Morticia and Gomez Addams sticker. I'm going to place that right over there. As a reminder, this is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know yourself best. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. Also, I did do a reading breakdown at the beginning, which is going to tell you exactly what's going to be covered and in the format it will be covered in. So I highly suggest that you check that out. That way you know if this is the right reading for you at this time. So to get started, we are going to look at you, your energy, and this person that you're going to be in a relationship, their energy. My intention is that you, the viewer, are on the left and your person is on the right. That being said, sometimes the energies can be flip-flopped where you can find yourself here and your person will be here. But if this doesn't sound like you and this doesn't sound like you, this is probably not your pile. Also, one last thing I will mention is that sometimes you may find that both of these energies sound like you, and that can be because sometimes, most of the times, we will connect with people that mirror us in some way. But let's see what we have here. So for person number one, we have the dragonfly, the buffalo, and now. And for the second person, we have, the shark. We have the snake. And we have kindness. Okay, so I am going to refer to the person on the left as the dragonfly and the person on the right as the shark person. But let's start by talking about this dragonfly. And before we get started, I do want to speak to the zodiac signs that are here. So in this dragonfly card, we see the element of air, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. In the buffalo card, we do see the element of earth represented. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And we have a little bit more earth energy with the now card. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn again. We'll talk about the shark person when we get there. So who is this dragonfly? I think this is somebody who is very interesting, and I think that what makes this person very interesting is just how multifaceted they are. I will say with the dragonfly here, this is somebody that is always going to find a way forward. This is somebody that is always going to find a path forward, if you will. I do think there's something about the dragonfly person that almost feels magical in nature. And that's coming through very loud and clear here, where it just feels like their energy is in some way very magical. And this could be somebody that has a very strong inner child as well that's coming through. But I think the dragonfly is someone that is always kind of moving about. And I think when it comes to their internal world, their inner world, if you will, the dragonfly person is always on a mission to learn more, to expand, and to experience more growth. I do think this dragonfly person is very spiritual. And I also think that this is someone who is constantly challenging their own mind, their own perspective on the world around them. And I do think this is somebody that has a strong connection to spirit, especially spirit animals, spirit guides, that sort of thing. I also think that this dragonfly person, sorry, is someone that is a little bit scattered at times. This feels like the type of person that is going to have a lot of different hobbies, a lot of different interests, and this feels like someone that is going to constantly be exploring and figuring out what they like best. So at times it could be that this dragonfly person struggles to see something all the way through, or they can kind of pick something up and realize it's not for them, and they find themselves kind of going through different hobbies, different interests. And this could be true for this person's like career path as well. This could be someone that has a lot of different interests and they explore a lot of different things before they find their path. And I also think that one thing about the dragonfly is this person really thrives when they are able to have a centered, grounded approach to the world around them. And I also think that this is somebody who is very wise, somebody who has just a lot of wisdom at their disposal that they can tap into. But I also think that this is someone that has a very busy mind, a very busy this person's energy feels very busy and very just a little scattered from time to time. So I do think that at times this dragonfly person does struggle when it comes to grounding their energy. But I also think that this is someone that can be very practical and someone that can be very reliable. Like, if you need something, this dragonfly person is going to be the person that shows up and they honor, who they honor your needs, and they honor their word as well. I do think that this person has a very strong presence to them. And I also think that this is somebody who's very compassionate, very loving, very kind. And this is somebody that is always going to show up for their loved ones. At times, I do think the dragonfly can be a bit restless, so I do think this is someone that would benefit from like daily grounding. And I would not be surprised if you are the dragonfly that you already know that about yourself and that you can tell the difference of when I start my day out and I do a meditation or do a grounding exercise, it goes so much better than when I try to just kind of not when I start the day in a more like restless energy, or when I have no direction for my day. I do think this dragonfly person is very uplifting, and one of the things that this person really wants to do is help uplift others. I would not be surprised if this is someone that does something for work that is like in a helping field, in a helping um some sort of career that has to do with helping others. But let's talk about this shark person because I want to get into their energy. So, with the shark and the snake, with the shark, we do have water energy here. So, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And with the snake, we have earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. With kindness, I would say that is a little bit more water energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces coming through. And these are just signs that I'm mentioning that could be important, but if those don't resonate with you, that doesn't mean that this reading is not for you. Take it as it resonates. So, with the shark person, I do think they have a very interesting energy because I think that this is someone that, how do I want to say this? I think this is someone that their energy seems a lot more intimidating than what it actually is. I think this is the type of person that when you first meet them, you don't necessarily know how to read them. This is somebody who is very direct and to the point, and this is somebody that is not going to kind of they're not going to filter their words necessarily. I don't think this person is cruel, but I do think this person is blunt, to the point, and direct. So I do think there is a level of sometimes that can be intimidating to other people. I also think that this shark person really approaches life in a very direct manner, so they're going to do and they're going to say what they are what they are thinking, what they are feeling. I also think that there is something that's a bit mysterious about this person, especially when you first meet them. It feels like there's something that they're not sharing, or there's something that they're kind of like keeping to themselves. And I do think to some extent that is true, that this person doesn't really share their deep thoughts, and they don't share everything about themselves with other people. In fact, I would say this shark person really does value their privacy. Like, this feels like the type of person that may not even have social media, or if they do, they're not really present. Like, they have it, they use it, but they're not posting about their life. This is not the type of person that is posting their vacation. This is not the type of person that is sharing their day-to-day world with outside people. This is somebody that moves very intentionally. And this is also somebody that really values privacy, and they don't want other people knowing exactly what it is that they're up to. I also do think this shark person is very creative. And I also feel like this is somebody that knows what they want, and they're going to fully go for it and create it. And they are not afraid of confrontation, or they're not afraid of competition, I should say. And this is somebody that is very abundant and prosperous. And this is someone that is very charismatic as well. There's something about the way that this person speaks, the way that this person um, carries themselves, that is very charming in a way. I do think this shark person is very much aware of their self worth. I also think that this person is constantly going through periods of growth. And I think that's something that these two have in common, is wanting to grow and wanting to expand through their knowledge of self and the world around them. I also do think the shark person does require a good amount of time and energy to recharge their batteries. So this does feel like somebody that likes to take a time out from other people. And this is somebody who's going to go for it. This doesn't feel like somebody who's going to think things through too much. There's something that is a little bit impulsive about this shark person. Like, they're going to go for it. They're going to trust their instincts, and they are going to make something happen. They're not going to spend too much time thinking on what if, what should I do, how should I do it. It feels like this person is really going to be more of, you know what, I feel it's the time is right, so I'm going to go in for the kill. And that's exactly what they do. And I do think one thing that these two have in common is that they do have a lot of hobbies, they do have a lot of desires, like that they want to explore more of. And I also think that these two have in common that sometimes they don't see it all the way through, that they can like get themselves into something and then figure out this wasn't for me, and they kind of just they may procrastinate a little bit, and they may have a little bit of a hard time finishing everything that they start. I have to say that because it's coming up. And that is something that I think both of them share together. I also think that for this shark person, they are way more caring, way more loving than what people would think, especially when they meet them. Because the dragonfly comes across as more like gentle, loving energy than the shark person, but they're both very gentle, they're both very loving. Yeah, let's get started. So we're going to look at how you'll meet. I will be shuffling on camera, and I just noticed I have no plan for what deck I'm going to use, so give me a moment. I am back, pile number 2. We are going to be using the Woodland Fairy Tale Tarot. Sorry about that. I came into this with no actual plan of what deck wanted to come through, and I'm not going to lie, it took me a little bit to decide. So we are going to start by looking at how will you meet this person, how will you meet each other, how will you connect with one another. So for my pile number 2s, I almost dropped all these cards. For my pile number 2s, how will my pile number 2 meet this person? How will they meet? How will my pile number 2s meet this person? Let's take a look here. All right. Bottom of the deck, let's see what we have. We have the 7 of Swords. Let's see what else we have. We have the Sun card. The Queen of Wands. And the Ace of Pentacles. So I'm getting a few different scenarios. Take the one that resonates for you the most. So as far as how you are going to meet this person, how you are going to connect with this person, with the 7 of Swords at the bottom of the deck there, I do think there is a level of unexpectedness when you meet, when you connect with this person. And I also think that when you meet and connect with this person, it could be that you are doing something for work. It could be that you meet them at work. It could also be that you meet them on or to, like you're on the way or to somewhere else from work. I will also say, I do think that when you meet this person, for most of you, I do think that you're going to meet this person after a period of being single. Take that if it resonates, because it's coming through for some of you, not all of you. That Ace of Swords is there. I also do think that this is going to be a little bit of a quick meet, and you may exchange information and then you keep talking. So this doesn't necessarily feel like you're going to meet them and you're going to be able to spend a lot of time with them. It feels more like you meet them and you're like on the go, and then you have to kind of go from there, and you exchange information, and then you have an opportunity to connect at a later time. It also does feel like this happens either while you're running some sort of errand, or like I said, it's something very routine that it feels like you're at work or you're going to work, or you're like maybe at happy hour after work. Or this could be somebody that you meet on a work trip for some of you. But it does feel like this is like a very routine day or routine type of day that has this very unexpected meeting here. I also think that when you meet, the person watching this, you, my pile number 2, you're going to be in a place where you are going to be feeling pretty confident. You are going to be feeling like it's almost like you're in the groove, like you are exactly where you're meant to be. Some of you could meet this person at a bank, or you could meet this person while going into the bank and doing some sort of banking. Or this could be somebody that either comes to your job or you work together. Though for most of you, I don't feel like this is somebody that you work with, because it feels like you have this encounter and you both have to go about your day, and then you have the opportunity to reconnect because you exchange information. And I do think that for most of you, you are going to be the dragonfly and this person is going to be the shark, and they're going to be the one to really initiate this, because it does feel like my pile number 2s, you're kind of minding your business. And when you meet this person, you're not focused on connecting with anyone, or like it's not the time and place for you to try to build a connection. So it does feel very, very divinely guided. This feels like a very chance encounter, and it happens like very much out of the blue. Like I said, this feels like it's happening right in the middle of you going about your daily routine. And that's why I think for some of you, work is involved here. For those of you where you are a business owner or you are an entrepreneur, this person may show up either at your business or they may show up as a client initially. And that is how you connect with them. Even if you work at a place where you are customer facing, this person may show up and they may have some sort of interaction with you through work. So it does feel like they have to initiate, and it feels like they're the ones that kind of lead this connection. Let's take a look at what is their first impression of you, pile number 2. And I will say, for some of you, because of the way that you meet, because you meet them through work, it may take a little bit for both of you to really like get this going. Like, you may exchange information and you may kind of talk, but it may be initially in like a very professional way for those of you that resonate with that message. And it takes a little bit of like maybe a couple of days or a couple of weeks of talking before like one person says like, listen, I kind of want to go out on a date, or I want more. So there is a level of like being cautious with this. But for my pile number 2s, what is their first impression of my pile number 2? Let's take a look. So bottom of the deck, we have the 8 of Swords. Cat's got this person's tongue. I will say that, pile number 2. Like, I think they're going to kind of be a bit surprised that they ran into you. Then we have the 8 of Cups. Knight of Wands. 6 of Wands. They're going to be very interested. We have the Knight of Wands here. The Knight of Wands, for me, we're going to keep it PG. But if you look at the Knight of Wands, and wands are swinging, if you know what I mean. But as far as their first impression of you, I do think that you kind of like surprise them. Because I don't think you were expecting one another. I don't think you, like, this doesn't feel like we're going to go out and we're going to go out for the purpose of meeting people, or I'm on this dating app with the purpose of meeting someone. This feels more organic. This feels more, again, routine, day-to-day life, and this just happens to show up for you. I do think their first impression of you is they know that you know your worth. They know that you are a catch. They know that you are not someone that is going to waste your time and energy on just anyone. I do think that's coming through, and I think they can see just how much self-love, self-respect that you have by the way that you carry yourself, by the way that you speak, by the way that you move. So their first impression of you is they're very attracted. There's a lot of passion here. There's a lot of chemistry here. Between, I think, the two of you. We're going to see what your first impression of them is, but especially on their side, there is that chemistry, there is that like attraction there. But I think that they can see that they're going to have to come correct. They're going to have to show up and be very intentional, that you are not going to waste your time and energy on just anyone. I do think that this Knight of Wands is here because of that physical attraction, right? It's that I'm having a reaction to this person. I am very attracted to them. The chemistry is here. The passion is here. I want to know more. I also think that you are going to give this person almost like a little bit of like the butterflies, that excitement. And we have that 6 of Wands. So this does feel like a very successful moment for them of being able to get to know you, being able to get to talk to you. This feels like the type of person that is not going to let you walk away without at least trying to exchange information. For some of you, this does happen in a setting where either you're meeting through work because you both work there, or there is some sort of business encounter. Whether they're coming to your place of employment, you are going to theirs. For most of you, I do feel like they're coming into your area, because it does feel like they're the ones that are like coming towards you. So I think that it's a very brief first impression, but it's a very lasting self-impression. And it really has them wondering what could happen here. and it has them very curious to get to know more about you. And I do think that this person is going to kind of like be woken up, right? Like if they're kind of in a routine, they're going with the flow, they're not really paying attention, they're just like having a regular old day, you spark interest in them where it feels like they wake up. I want to see what's see that Ace of Cups. This is like the beginning of they see potential. They see potential for more. They want to know more. They want to get to know you. And that's why I'm saying this person, they're not going to let you walk away without at least exchanging information, because they don't want to risk not being able to find you again or not being able to connect with you again. So pile number 2, we're going to ask about your first impression of them. So when you first meet, what is your first impression of this person coming in for you? What is your first impression of them? Let's take a look. So pile number 2, bottom of the deck, what do we have? The Page of Swords. There's curiosity here. I do think pile number 2, you're going to want to know more. There is curiosity here. We have the 3 of Wands. Yeah, that curiosity is absolutely there. The 8 of Pentacles. The 9 of Pentacles. I think that you are also going to be feeling that attraction to this person. I think that you're going to have that, like, I'm anticipating what comes next. I want to know more. I'm curious. I want to discover more. I want to hear more. But I also think that there is more caution on your side than theirs. And that's why I do feel like for many of you, this person is either showing up as a client, they're showing up at your place of employment. For those of you where that doesn't resonate and you meet them, like you meet them and it's not at anyone's job or anyone's work is involved, this could just be that you are a bit more cautious. But the 3 of Wands is here. I do think there is an interest, there is an attraction, and there is almost a question of, is this the person from that reading? Is this the person that I've been manifesting? Is this the person that I've been asking for? But I also think that you are trying to pace yourself and you're trying to keep yourself cool, calm, and collected and grounded. And you're not trying to like overthink it, overanalyze it. You're trying to remain present in the present moment. But it does feel like this is a successful first meet. And we do have that 9 of Pentacles. So it does feel like, wow, I was supposed to meet this person. I was supposed to connect with this person. And I'm excited to see where this will go from here, because there is almost like that acknowledgement that this feels like it's meant to go somewhere. It feels like it's meant to move forward. And with the Temperance card, I do think there is also a level of just calm and peace that you're going to feel, that you're not going to feel like you have to rush anything or like you have to force anything to happen. I do think that you are going to be feeling a lot more confident, where I think that your person is going to be feeling a little bit more nervous and a little bit more anxious about making sure that this goes the way that they want it to go. But I think that for you, my viewer, you're going to kind of have this sense of like, if it's meant to be, it's going to be. And I do think that this could be something, but also let it play out. Let's take a look at the spark, the attraction between the two of you. So we're going to kind of allow anything that wants to come through. This could be like the type of attraction, what you find most attractive about each other. So what is this spark? What is this attraction between my pile number 2 and their person? I just dropped that. Bottom of the deck is the Moon. Let me grab what I just dropped. It was facing up, so I'm going to show it. It's the 2 of Pentacles. And let's take a look at what else we have here. We have the King of Cups. And we have the 4 of Wands. So pile number 2, this is a connection, a relationship where from the start, a lot of this attraction is physical. I do think there's so much more to it, but this does feel like one of those relationships, one of those connections where It's a very physical start. It's, you know, I just want to spend time with this person. I want to touch them. I want to hug them. I want to kiss them. I want to do other things with them, if you know what I mean. But I also think that this is a connection where the attraction between the two of you does begin to ground and form into something more emotional, into something more grounded from very early on. We do have the King of Cups here. So I do think that both of you have a desire and an understanding of who both of you are. I also think that you both have similar things that you want for yourself in the long term, and that is going to help you both build something that is going to be more lasting or that has the potential to be more lasting. I also think that this is a couple where you're going to enjoy spending a lot of time together, and you are going to enjoy like prioritizing each other and the relationship as you develop this connection. I do think that you both are very nurturing. I think we're going to do love language in a little bit, but I do think that physical touch is very important for this connection. And I also think that both of you are in a place where even if you're not actively seeking a relationship, you are in a place where if the right person were to show up, you have the ability to create space for them in your life and to prioritize them. And it does feel like very early on, there is this recognition here of I want to spend more time with this person. I want to get to know this person. And I do think that the attraction here is physical. There's also a lot of emotional attraction. But I also think that one of the things that you both are going to enjoy is spending time together. I do think this is a group where part of what you enjoy doing could be traveling, trying new places, exploring together. And I think that you're going to enjoy planning those dates and spending that time together. I also think that there's going to be a lot of gratitude for one another and for finding one another on this journey very early on, and a lot of devotion to establishing the connection and to growing the connection. So, as far as the spark, it's very instant, it's very like early on. But what's beautiful about this group is that both of you are going to be devoted to growing the spark, to feeding that fire, right? To keeping that fire going. And I do think that both of you will be. It's very interesting because I do get romance here, but I also get like a very practical type of romance. Like, it's not necessarily I'm going to go get all these flowers, but I'm going to do something that is meaningful for you. And maybe for some of you that is like I'm going to show up with a bouquet of flowers, or I'm going to show up and plan something for us, but it's very practical at the same time. Like, it's not just I'm going through the playbook and I'm doing the things that I think someone would love. It's I'm doing the things that I know pile number 2 would love because that's my person. And I do want to, I don't know how much I hit on this moon card being here at the bottom of the deck, but this is very passionate. It does feel very strong emotionally very early on. There is like that emotional bond very early on, and I don't think it's in an unhealthy way. But I would not be surprised if somebody here has like their Venus in the sign of Scorpio or Cancer or Pisces. There is a level of intensity here. For some of you, looking at your Black Moon Lilith in your natal chart can also give you some answers, and looking at your Juno asteroid in your natal chart can give you some answers, because I do think there is like a very strong connection. So I would not be surprised. Also, like a Mars in Aries is coming through for some of you here. So how do you complement each other? That was a terrible shuffle. These cards are very thick. So how do my pile number 2s complement each other? So how do you complement each other, pile number 2? How do you and your person complement each other? And again, we're going to kind of allow this to be answered in the way that it wants to be answered. Bottom of the deck, we have the King of Pentacles. We have the Emperor. Sorry, there's some cards that have nudity, and that's why I'm being a little bit careful, because if I show it, I can get in trouble. The Tower card. And we have that Eight of Swords here again. One thing that I think that you two complement each other very well, I think it's in the, I said this earlier. I do think for my pile number twos, you have very similar values and you have very similar plans for the future as this person. So as you meet one another, I do think this is a connection where it's very physical. The attraction is there, the chemistry is there. But I also think that this is a connection that the more you get to talk to one another, the more it just makes sense. The more you feel comfortable with one another, and the more that you realize that you want the same things for the future. So I think in the way that you complement each other is what you envision for your future, the life that you want to live, how you want to live it, and how you want to approach it is very much in line with what this person wants. I also think that you two are going to be very supportive of one another and very understanding of what the other person is going through. This feels like a relationship where when you connect, pile number two, and as you are building this relationship, it does feel like this is like two people that have a lot of dreams, a lot of desires, a lot of goals, right? So I do think one of the ways that you show up for one another is encouraging the other person. I do think that this person is going to be your number one cheerleader and vice versa. And I do think that this relationship has the potential to become something long term and to become something where both people are building towards the same thing together. So I do think that this is the type of person or the type of connection where you're going to be able to come home and talk to your partner about your plans or your desires or your finances or, you know, your business, your job, your work. And this person is going to not only encourage you, but they're going to be able to like give you advice or at the very least like hold space for you to be wherever it is that you are at. And I think the reason that this Tower card is here is because both of you are used to going through changes and through transformations. And one thing that you are going to complement each other very well on is that you're both going to share a perspective with one another that is going to help you move forward and grow and expand. And I think that one thing that has happened for this group is that for both of you, you are used to going through these transformations and you are used to going through these interests and, you know, wanting to explore certain things and then realizing it wasn't right for you, where some people may have judged you or they may not understand where you are coming from. This person in this connection, you are both going to understand one another. And I think in your chaotic periods of time, you are both going to be a grounding force for one another as well. Like there's something that's very reliable, that's very grounding about both of you. And it's going to be very nurturing in some ways or very comforting in some ways when you connect with one another. See that Nine of Cups, this is a wish fulfillment. This person is going to, in many ways, they're just going to get you in the same way that you kind of get them. There's a lot in common that you have. So especially for this group, you may have been listening to the beginning and you were probably like, oh, I'm the dragonfly. Wait, no, I'm the shark. Wait, I'm both. It's because there's a lot in common here. Let's take a look at the mirror. So what are they going to reflect back to you, pile number two? What is your person going to reflect back to you? What will this person reflect back to my pile number twos? Bottom of the deck, we have the Fool card. Page of Swords. We have the Nine of Wands. And we have the Four of Cups. This is very interesting because I think what your person is going to reflect back to you, what they are going to mirror back to you. First and foremost, I do think that when it comes to both of you talking and communicating with one another, I think it's going to be very easy for you both to communicate with one another. I also think that what this person is going to reflect back to you is they're going to kind of be able to not only like talk to you about your ideas and your plans for the future, but I think that this person is going to highlight to you in which ways sometimes you play it small or safe. And they are going to encourage you to go bigger, to step out of your comfort zone, and to empower yourself to go for what you want. Because I said this, for many of you, you're going to be the dragonfly and your person is going to be the shark. The shark is much more in your face about getting what they want. And I do think that the dragonfly has a lot of dreams and desires. And sometimes the dragonfly can kind of struggle with going after what they want in a way that feels comfortable or in a way that feels safe. And I think that this shark person, especially for those of you that identify as the dragonfly, I think what this shark person is going to do is they're going to show you your power, your strength. They're going to show you how much you can accomplish. And they're going to be your number one cheerleader as you move through this. This person is also going to mirror back to you, pile number 2, in which ways you sometimes make your life harder or in which ways you kind of remain stuck in patterns that you have outgrown. This person really feels like they're going to help you out by like really encouraging you. And I want to make it clear, I don't think this person is going to kind of come in and try to fix everything for you, because I don't think you would want that. But I do think this person is going to do a lot of encouraging and also like talk to you and give you ideas of how you can expand and how you can grow and how you can either view something from a different perspective or try something in a different way. This person is also going to help you step away from things that were actually limiting your energy and not allowing you to grow. And I think I know this is not part of the question, but I do want to add this because it's coming through. I think that you're going to also reflect back to them in which ways they're doing too much. Because I do think that your person may struggle with like doing a little bit too much and being like too tired or too exhausted or not giving themselves enough time to take a break and rest. Of course, I just moved all those cards. All right, so we're going to look at how will you experience joy and happiness together? How will you experience joy and happiness together in this relationship? How will you experience joy and happiness together in this relationship? And we have the 9 of Swords. We have the 7 of Pentacles, the Magician card here, and we also have the Lovers. And yeah, we got to cover this one up. Sorry, pile number 2. All right. There we go, the Lovers, because YouTube hates a boob. So as far as how you will experience joy and happiness together, I love that the 9 of Swords is at the bottom of the deck. And if you've had a personal reading with me, you know that especially in personal readings, the bottom of the deck gives me information as to what's happening, what leads up to this, right? And I think that for both of you, how you will experience joy together with this 9 of Swords being at the bottom of the deck is that you are going to feel at ease. You are going to feel loved and understood by your person. And it's going to feel like, you know what, I don't have to go at it alone. I don't have to do everything by myself. It's almost like I have a partner in crime. We also have this 7 of Pentacles here. And I think part of how you will experience joy, what's beautiful about this is that I do think that you are both very adventurous. But I also think that you will both find that you will experience joy in those adventures, but also in day-to-day life, right? Like you are going to be so comfortable with one another that you're just going to feel joyful, right? You're going to feel that happiness in day-to-day life and in doing the mundane things, if you will. And it feels like for both of you, when you are together, the more that you establish this relationship, this connection, the more time that you spend together, the more it feels like I am in the right place at the right time and I am headed in the right direction. I also think that you're going to experience a lot of joy because you are both going to be working very hard at creating the future that you want together. I would not be surprised if this is a group where you do want to have a family together. You do want to like buy a house and do the more traditional things, if you will. And I think there's going to be a lot of joy just getting to create the life that you want, but also in those times that you spend together, in the privacy, in the intimacy of your own like time together. There's going to be a lot of joy here. And I do think that this is a connection that has a lot of just built-in trust and devotion that really does develop rather quickly between you two. And we have that Six of Pentacles there. There's an equal give and take. This doesn't feel like one person is doing all of the work and the other person is just showing up. This is an equal give and take between the two of you. Let's take a look at your love language together. So how do you express love? What is the love language together? For my pile number twos, what is this love language for my pile number twos? Bottom of the deck, what do we have here? We have the Two of Cups. There's a lot of love here. I do think physical touch is a big one for this group. Let's take a look at what else we have here. The Ten of Pentacles and the Six of Cups. Wow. We have the Two of Cups, the Six of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles. Those are very, very happy cards, especially when we are talking about connections and relationships, pile number two. But I think the love language here, I do think this is a group where gift giving, and I'm not necessarily getting like buying very expensive over the top things, but I think like getting things that your partner is going to appreciate and they're getting things that you're going to appreciate. I do think that both of you will express your love through like little gestures, and it could go into acts of service as well. But I do think that like gift giving, I will say pile number two, your person and you as well, both of you, they're like, this is unmatched energy when it comes to like picking out, curating the best gift possible. Like when it comes to anniversary, when it comes to birthdays, when it comes to like celebrations, you are both going to come through with the best gifts, and they're going to be very heartfelt. They're going to be very like intentional. I will also say pile number two, I don't know why this is coming through, but it's coming through. You are both going to be able to host a mean dinner party. Like this feels like the type of home or the type of couple that you go to see. Somebody here is a very good cook. But as far as love language, gifts, physical touch is coming through here as well. And I do think words of affirmation is a third and very close one for this group, because I do think you both encourage each other quite well. But I think that physical touch and like gift giving are two primary love languages for the two of you. Let's take a look at the growth. So how is this relationship going to change you, my viewer? For my pile number twos, how will this connection relationship change my viewer? What is the growth my viewer is going to experience as a result of this connection, this relationship? Bottom of the deck, we have the Page of Cups. I love that. Let's see what else we have here. Strength card. Eight of Wands. Pile number two. I think with the Page of Cups being here, this is going to be almost like a wish come true. This is going to be one of those like, this almost feels too good to be true. And I do think pile number two, that this relationship, this connection is going to change you as a person, because I do feel like this is going to empower you and give you a level of confidence And this isn't to say that my pile number twos were not confident, because I do think you have a very good understanding of who you are and a good level of like self-confidence. But I think this is going to boost you up even more. And I think this is going to give you a lot of courage to do certain things that maybe you were holding back, or live a life that maybe you didn't necessarily think was possible for you. Something that you knew you wanted, but something that you didn't want to put too much energy into because maybe you felt it wasn't going to necessarily pan out the way that you wanted it to. So there was a level of like playing it safe, that this relationship is going to come in regardless of the outcome of the relationship, and it's going to make you more willing to take a leap, more willing to try different things, and more willing to give yourself an opportunity to experience the things that you want and desire. I want to see what the potential here is. So what is your potential together with this person? What is the potential together with this person? Let's take a look here for my pile number twos. What is the potential for my pile number two and this next person, this next relationship? Bottom of the deck, we do have the Three of Cups. We have the Two of Wands. We have the Chariot card, and we have, wow, the Ten of Cups. I forgot that crystal was there. Pile number two. For some of you, take this as it resonates, and also be present, right? When you meet this person, you want to be present. You want to create this. For some of you, this is going to be a person that you build a life with, that you build a family with. This could be the person that you marry if that's something that you want to do. This is like a future spouse type of energy. This is a life partner. There is potential here for this person to be a life partner, and for this person to be the person that you build the life that you want. I do think at the base of this, there's going to be a lot of mutual respect, a lot of love, a lot of friendship between the two of you. And I do think that as far as potential goes, we have the Chariot, we have the Ten of Cups, and we have the Two of Wands. This is a life partner. This person has the potential to be a life partner. Let's take a look and see what other cards we have here. And this is just going to be advice. This could be about the relationship itself. This could be advice just for you. We're going to see what comes out. First card here is obstacles. Unhealed wounds are blocking forward movement. So if you haven't met this person and you know there's something that requires attention, there's some sort of blockage, this could be a good time to work on this to make sure that you create the best possible outcome. And this could be on your person's side, this could be on your side, or this, if this doesn't resonate that it's for you, don't take it. But for those of you that you know you're still doing some sort of work, or you're still kind of opening yourself up to love and relationships, absolutely give that the time and energy that it needs. Then we have stability. This relationship can stand the test of time. Absolutely, that's coming through here. I don't think that's a surprise. We also have finances. Financial challenges are affecting the connection. For some reason, I do get like finances for this group. For some of you, again, like you could meet this person at a bank. This could be the person that's helping you with something, or you meet them, or it's through work. But I also think that for my pile number twos, either for you, your person, or for both of you, there is a focus right now on finances and building stability, building financial resources up, or it could even be building up a more stable career. So that could be what is kind of requiring a lot of attention for one or both of you, and maybe that's why you haven't met yet. We also have apology. You can expect the apology that you want to hear. If you know this person, maybe it's somebody that's coming back around. To be completely honest, that's not the energy that I'm getting, but take it as it resonates. Also, with the apology card being here, if there's anything that you need to forgive someone else or yourself for, that could be part of the obstacles that are showing up. I also think that this is a connection where you're not going to have to worry about like one person needing to apologize. Like I feel like both of you are going to be very intentional. Let's see what else we have here. Letting go. If someone leaves you confused more than comforted, you need to reassess their access to you. So also this is a question of, do you need to let go of someone or something? And this is a reminder that people will show you who they are through their actions. Always believe them. Then we have reaching your goal. Everything you want from this connection will manifest in the near future. So this is also speaking to, you will meet this person, you will connect with this person. For some of you where you resonate, like right now, there's a lot of time and energy being poured into career or finances. Just know that you will reach your goals in that area as well. Then we have be honest. Heart-to-heart conversations are necessary. It is safe for you to talk about your feelings. And that's one thing, pile number 2. You're going to be able to communicate with this person. This person is going to hold space for both of you to communicate with one another. Let's see what else we have here. Ooh. Wait, is this the group where I talked about Lilith? I'm pretty sure you are. I've kind of been recording back to back, but I do think I mentioned Lilith in this group. We have Goddess of Power here. So pile number 2. If you feel called, look at your Black Moon Lilith in your natal chart, even in your transits. But also with Lilith and the Goddess of Power here, realizing that you will manifest what you want, that you are the co-creator of your life, and kind of empowering yourself. Then we also have joy. Yeah, I do think this is a relationship, a connection that's going to bring in a lot of joy. Let's see what else we have here. Curiosity. Meeting new people, I remember what a treasure trove of opinions, interests, and stories they are. But these treasures will only be unlocked if I embrace my curiosity. So I'll be curious and you be interesting. Deal? If you're being called to try something, to put yourself out there, to go somewhere, trust your intuition. I also do think that this connection is going to bring a lot of conversations and a lot of getting to know one another and exploring one another. Then we have independence. I embrace total independence and I see how empowering that is. Even when I'm in a relationship, I can still be independent by meeting my own needs and creating my own happiness. When I do that, I'm the fullest version of myself and I have much more me to give without needing pieces of me in return. A scientifically impossible expectation. And I do think that this is a relationship and a connection where you are both going to maintain your independence. And I do think that when you meet and connect with this person, you are in a place where you are very independent. Then we have wants and needs. I take stock of my relationships and I'm honest about what I want and need from the people in my life. I note the difference between the two. Wants are negotiable, needs are not. Both may be desired and either may be acquired, but that's getting into the Venn diagram territory, and no one wants to draw one of those, though some of us might need to. So pile number 2, also getting very clear about what your wants and your needs are and what you are willing to compromise on and what's a deal breaker for you. That's going to help you honor yourself going forward as you meet your person, or as you, maybe for one or two of you, as you reconnect with the person. But pile number 2, that is what I have for you. What is going to be your affirmation for the week? I trust that all that I want is mine for the taking. I trust that all that I want is mine for the taking, because I think that for this group, it's not even just about love and relationships, just in general. That is your vibe. That is your affirmation. Claim it in the comments. Let me know what you thought. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It helps me out and the channel so much. Share the video if you think it's worth sharing. Let me know what you'd like to see next. I do keep a running list, and stay tuned for next week's poll. Also, thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. I am sending so much love, so many blessings, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you are drawn to the Hercules and Meg sticker. I'm going to place that right over there. As a reminder, this is a general reading, so take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know yourself best. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. Also, I did do a reading breakdown at the beginning. It is time stamped below and it tells you exactly what's going to be answered and in the format it will be answered. So I highly suggest that you check that out. That way you know if this is the right reading for you. To get started, we are going to look at your energy and the energy of the person that you're going to be in a relationship with. And my intention is that you, my viewer, are on the left and your person is on the right. Sometimes it can happen that you will be on the right and your person will be on the left. But if you don't identify as this person or this person, it's possible that this is not the reading for you or the pile for you. So try choosing a different pile. Also, sometimes what happens is you may identify as this person and this person, and that can be because people tend to mirror one another, especially if it's a soulmate. So keep that in mind, but let's get started. So we have the gazelle for person number 1, the frog. We also have confidence. For person number 2, we have the fire ant and we have the starfish. And we have divinity. Okay. So, very interesting energy so far. Let's talk about what zodiac signs are here. And when I mention the zodiac signs, they are not meant to be. If the zodiac sign does not resonate with you, it's not because it's not your reading. It just could be that that part of the reading is not resonating with you. So keep an open mind with that. But with the gazelle, we have the element of fire. So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. With the frog, we have the element of water. So Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And with confidence, we have a little bit more fire energy there. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius coming up. And we will talk about the fire ant when we get there. So when it comes to the gazelle, I think this is somebody that is, first and foremost, I do think this person is quite active and typically very much aware of their surroundings, very much aware of what is happening in the environment around them. I do think this gazelle person is very good at reading energy, not only the energy of the environment, but the energy of people around them. I will say I do think the gazelle person is spiritual, and this person probably has some sort of spiritual routine or spiritual practice. I also think that one thing about the gazelle is this person is very much aware of what's happening around them at all times. I do think that this gazelle, there's something about the way that the gazelle moves. This could be in the way that they walk. This could be in the way that they carry themselves that comes across as very sophisticated, as very confident as well. I do think the gazelle person can sometimes be hyper aware of their environment, and this could be somebody that may struggle with a little bit of anxiety, especially with that frog card being there. But if that is the case, this gazelle person has done a lot of work to feel more comfortable, more confident, and to acknowledge all of what they bring to the table and all of who they are, and to be, I think this is somebody that has a lot of self-love and that has been practicing self-love. I also think that this gazelle person, for most, this is somebody that has maybe like a, either like a yoga practice, some sort of like stretching, exercise routine, maybe even like a walking routine where this person may go for a walk every single day to help them kind of just deal with the excess energy, because I do think that this is somebody that has a bit of a nervous energy to them. I do think this is somebody that can be a bit restless at times. And I also think that this is someone that really understands how their energy works and how to best take care of their energy. I would not be surprised if this person struggles with like sleep or staying asleep. I think that's a big one for this person. I also think that this is somebody who constantly has like a ping pong match of ideas going on in their head. So there's so much that they're thinking about, there's so much that they're trying to figure out, and there's so much that they're trying to juggle at once. I do think this is somebody that is very busy as well. I also think that this gazelle person is someone that is very gentle and sensitive. I do think this is someone who is also sensitive to energies outside of themselves. So this could be someone that identifies as a empath. This could be someone that notices their energy being affected when they are around other people. I also think that this is someone that does a lot of healing work for themselves, and someone that has a big focus on healing the self, on just being the best that they can be for themselves and doing the best that they can for themselves. I would not be surprised if this person is on some sort of health journey. It could be with the foods that they eat. It could be with like anything that they consume, including media. This feels like somebody that is very much aware of what is required for their own wellness, and they make sure that they do that. They make sure that they honor that. I also think that one thing about the gazelle person is that this person needs to take regular breaks to just kind of recharge. I do feel like this is somebody that if they don't take a break, if they don't take a day off just to be by themselves or to spend time with themselves, or even if it's just a few minutes every day, they will burn out their energy. I do think this is somebody that is very easily overworked as well. Like, I do think this is someone that keeps so busy that sometimes they kind of tend to overwork their energy and overextend themselves. I also think that this gazelle person is somebody that has done a lot of work around forgiveness of self or forgiveness of someone else. And this could be a combination of both, right? Like forgiving the self, but also forgiving others or forgiving the universe for something that happened here. I also think it's very important for this gazelle person to lighten their load. And I do think that most, like if you are the gazelle, you are aware that you are not meant to carry too much because it really does burden you and overload your senses. I do think the gazelle person does sometimes deal with depression. It could be anxiety, but that's coming up. That's not going to resonate for everyone, so take it as it resonates. I also think that breath work is something that is very powerful for the gazelle, especially when it comes to grounding centering. For some, this gazelle person does something in the health field. Um, this could be somebody that does something in the psychology field specifically. It could be like a therapist, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a coach, something along those lines, a mentor. But the gazelle person is very much aware of other people's energies, and they can become very anxious if they feel like someone is mad at them or if they think something is off or wrong. But let's talk about the fire ant person. So, I do want to mention the signs that are represented in the cards. We see in the card for the fire ant that is fire energy. So, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. We also see the starfish is water energy, so Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And with divinity, I would say that could be either air or water. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And it's very interesting because these two both have fire and water coming up as their cards, as the elements on the cards. So let's talk about the fire ant person because I do think that I do think these two have a lot in common, but I also think they have significant differences in how the energy presents itself. So for the fire ant person, one thing I think the fire ant and the gazelle have in common is that they do have a very anxious, or at the very least, it's very restless energy coming through. I do think that the fire ant person also has a little bit of a ping pong match where they're always thinking about something, analyzing something, trying to figure out what the next thing that they should do is. I do think this person tends to overanalyze, overthink, and I did say for the gazelle that's very similar energy. For the fire ant person, I do think this person struggles when it comes to changes, and I do think this is someone that really likes things to be predictable, things to go according to plan, and things to. This is like somebody who's not so much go with the flow as much as they want to know exactly what they can expect. And I do think that the fire ant person, especially when there's something unexpected, it really kind of knocks them off balance in a significant way. And I also think that tends to spike their anxiety. So they do like something that is very predictable. One thing about the fire ant, like, I would not be surprised if this is the type of person that is looking up spoilers before they go watch a movie or a show, because they don't want to be surprised or they don't want to deal with the unexpected. There is something about this person that they really seek comfort in what is known to them. I do think this person does have a little bit of a temper, or at the very least, their emotions can kind of flare up rather quickly. For the fire ant, I'm not getting that in a way that is scary or in a way that is toxic, but it does feel like this person is quick to anger. But what I will also say, I think that this person is going to cool off as quick as they anger. And I do think this is something that they are aware of and that they are working on. I also think that this person really does avoid gossip, drama. Like, this fire ant person doesn't want to deal with it. They don't feed into gossip or drama, especially in like their personal life or even in their work life. They don't want anything to do with that. They like to kind of have a easygoing existence, and they're not going to feed into that. If there is drama, they're going to remove themselves from that situation. One thing about the fire ant person is this person is very disciplined. This person is not afraid of hard work. They are very determined, and they're going to persevere. They're going to make sure that they see something all the way through. They're not going to step away. They're not going to give up. And one thing is, we have the starfish here. So whenever the starfish shows up, it's someone that is very attractive. So I do think that your fire ant person, or whoever this fire ant person is very physically attractive. I also do think that this is someone that really enjoys beauty and art and the finer things in life. And I do think that the fire ant makes it a priority to be able to experience those things, whether it's by working very hard so that they have the resources, but also by really, like, this feels like somebody that really appreciates art. And I would not be surprised if this person is into poetry. I also think that this is someone that needs to have some sort of purpose, some sort of higher calling in order for them to feel good, in order for them to feel like they are doing what they are supposed to be doing. So I do think for this person, there's something very clear cut that they would say their purpose is. And if they don't have that, they may struggle with feeling empty or with feeling a bit lost. But for most, I do think they have already identified what that is. And they do have that calling. They do have something that they dedicate time and energy into, some sort of cause, some sort of calling, if you will. And I do think this fire ant person does have a lot of angelic protection. It could be spirit guides as well, but I do feel a lot of angelic, like guardian angels, archangels around them. All right, pile number 3 for you. I am going to be using the Modern Love Tarot, and we're going to start by asking, how will you meet this person that you're going to be in a relationship with? Your next significant relationship, how is my pile number 3 going to meet this person? How will these two connect? All right, pile number 3. Let's see what we have here for you. All right, bottom of the deck, what do we have? We have the Hermit card. Let's see what else we have here. So we have the Hermit, we have the 3 of Cups, the Strength card, and the 4 of Pentacles. Okay, so I'm getting a few different scenarios. I'm going to give you all of the scenarios that I'm getting. That being said, take what resonates. Take it as it resonates. Not every single thing is going to resonate with every single person. But I think that at the bottom of the deck, we have the Hermit card here. So I do think that when you meet, there is almost a little bit of like being in a hermit mode where one or both of you are kind of just doing your own thing. This doesn't feel like you meet where there are other people. It doesn't feel like you meet necessarily in a big crowd to me. This feels like maybe you meet one-to-one. For some of you, I do think there's a chance that you're going to meet this person on like a dating app, or somebody is going to set you up and you're going to receive their information and you're going to start by like exchanging some sort of either text or maybe even a call. But it does feel like that when you meet this person, there is a level of like getting to talk to them before you meet them in person, whether that is because you are meeting them through a friend and you're being set up in that way, or you're like on a dating app, or maybe you're taking like an online class. For many of you, this does feel like it's going to be like something online or something that starts up not because you ran into each other in your day-to-day life. I do feel like for this group, there is going to be like a back and forth that happens before you see each other. That's why I'm really leaning towards a dating app. And for some of you, it could be somebody setting you up, but they're not doing in person, right? Like maybe you have a friend that comes up to you and says, I have this person that I want you to talk to, or that I think that you would hit it off with. Are you okay if I give them your information, or do you want their information? And there's a little bit of like talking, there's a little bit of like connecting in that way before you meet one another. And I do think that for this group, especially when you meet, when you start talking, when you start communicating with one another, it's not something that you're necessarily super seeking out. And I do think that there's going to be a period of like, let's get comfortable, even if it's just a couple of days of texting or talking on the phone before we set something up to meet in person or to go on a date. I also think that when you connect with one another, there is an element of I'm open to it, but I'm not necessarily seeking anything out. So I do think, especially for you, my viewer, you may be in a place where you're kind of playing it cool. You're taking it like one step at a time, but you're not necessarily seeking something or like super excited to be talking to someone. I don't know why that's coming through. It's almost like for some of you, if you meet on like a dating app, you like come on and off, or you take a break from it and then like you connect and you see a message or a match with someone that is kind of interesting, but at the same time the expectations seem very low here. Let's take a look at what is going to be their first impression of you. That was a terrible shuffle. We're going to do that again. But what is going to be their first impression of my pile number 3? Pile number 3, let's see. What is their first impression of you? Bottom of the deck, the Magician. They definitely feel that spark, right? We have that Magician. So they can see potential. They want to get to know more. The Magician can absolutely speak to that attraction. What do we have here? The Chariot. Yeah, this person is going the Page of Cups. Okay. And the Fool card. pile number 3, this person is absolutely going to pursue you. And I think your energy is the one, we're about to check on that in a few minutes, but I do think your energy is going to be more reserved. And it's almost like they know they have to earn your attention. They know they have to get your attention and keep it, and they want to impress you. But as far as their first impression of you, I do think there is a strong physical connection, a strong physical attraction here. But I also think there's a lot of curiosity. I do think that this person does have romantic feelings very early on. And when I say romantic feelings, it's that attraction, that excitement, that anticipation, that wanting to get more, to know you more, right? Like that wanting to explore the connection more. I also think that this person is really going to, they're really going to pursue you. And I do think that they're going to know very early on that there is a possibility here for more. And like they're going to know very early on that their intention is to go on a date, to get to know you more, to explore more of the connection. That's coming through here very strongly. Like this person absolutely knows that they want to explore more. And I do think that their first impression is, I want to know more, like, let's go on a date. I would not be surprised if this person is a bit more eager as far as the timeline and when you both go out and when you both connect, because I do feel a little bit more reservation on your part, pile number 3, on you, the viewer. Whereas this person, it feels like they're the type of person that they're going to say, like, do you want to kind of go out? Like, let's go out today. Let's go out tomorrow. Like, let's set this up. Let's get to know more. I do also think that one thing about this person and their first impression of you is that there's potential here. Also, they see you as someone who has everything, like, you have it together. They're very impressed by you. They're very impressed by your energy. This could be like very early on, you start to talk about yourself and what you do. There's something about you that they really see you as somebody who has it all together, as someone, you're the type of person that they want to date. You're the type of person that they want to know more about. I want to see what your first impression of them is. For my pile number 3s, what is my pile number 3's first impression of this person that they're going to be in a relationship with? What is my pile number 3's first impression of them? Bottom of the deck, the devil. Pile number 3, you're going to like what you're seeing. I'll tell you that. I do think that attraction is strong there, right? We have the devil card. You're definitely going to recognize their physical attributes, their physical, I think this person is, because I think for most of you, the fire ant is the person coming in. And as I said, this person is very beautiful, very good looking, gorgeous, handsome, whatever you want to use to describe them. You're absolutely going to notice that. The 7 of Cups, the 9 of Cups, very interesting. The Ace of Swords. Your first impression of this person, you're going to play it cool. You are not going to put all of your eggs in a basket. You are not going to go all in on this from the very beginning. I do think the physical attraction is there, and you are going to notice that. I do think this is somebody that you're going to be attracted to. You're going to find them charming. I do also think that you're going to find this person very interesting, which is something that you're both going to have in common, because I do think that you're both going to find the other person very interesting, very unique. But I also think that pile number 3, when this comes together, you're not trying to get hurt. You're not trying to risk your heart necessarily. So I do think that this person is going to have to put in the work to earn your time and energy. I also do think that there is almost a little bit of a recognition that this could potentially lead to more, but at the same time, you're in a place where you're trying to remain centered and grounded. I would not be surprised if you are on a dating app, if you're still kind of open to getting to know someone else, or if you are at the very least in a place where, again, it doesn't feel like you're putting all of your eggs in one basket, because I don't necessarily think that you know what to expect when you first meet, because this person is very charming, very attractive, and I think there's a part of you that may kind of not necessarily be buying everything that they're saying because of the way that they look. But I also think that your first impression of them is like, there's excitement here. There is a lot of chemistry between the two of you. I do think this person gives you the butterfly, and I do think like you're gonna go home and you're gonna think about them. Like, you're going to allow yourself to like go into the what ifs, but you're also going to kind of catch yourself and keep yourself grounded. I want to see what's underneath here. The Eight of Swords. Yeah, you're trying to play it safe. You are trying to keep yourself protected. You're not trying to get your heart broken. You're not trying to get your hopes up too early, but you do like them. And you do find them interesting, pile number 3. Like, I do think that you both really find each other very interesting. Let's take a look at what is the spark, the attraction here between the two of you. What's the spark, right? Like, when we talk about spark, what comes up for this group? It's only those 3. Let's take a look, bottom of the deck, what we have here. We have the Two of Pentacles, the Moon card, the Death card, the Tower card. Okay, this is very interesting energy to have come through. So when it comes to the attraction, I do think this is going to be very intense. I do think this is one of those attractions where I don't want to say obsessive, because that's not necessarily what it is, but this is somebody that's going to be on your mind. You're going to be on their mind. And I do think that emotions are going to start flowing pretty early on. I also think that for both of you, especially for you, my viewer, because I think that this person is going to be more ready and more willing to kind of walk into something a lot sooner than you are. I do think there is a little bit of like, let me be careful with this. But this is one of those attractions where it's like, this person is what I can think about. This person is who I want to spend time with. And I think that that is true for both of you. So physically, the attraction is here. For some of you, I think early on, there's going to be, whether that is some sort of physical intimacy, take that as it resonates for you and your situation personally. And I do think this is one of those like hot and heavy type of connections where very early on it does kind of take off and the attraction is pretty much there. But I also think that for you, my pile number 3, the viewer, you're going to be the one to kind of pace this out at whatever pace you want this to go. I also think that you're both going to have a strong emotional bond that is going to build up more on the, I don't want to say super quick because it's not, but I do think that there is going to be an intense emotional bond here as well. This is like, I can't get enough of this person type of energy. Like, I just can't get enough. I want more. I want to explore more. I want to know more. I want to spend time with them. The Ace of Cups is there as well. And I do think for both of you, it's like, well, you know, there's other responsibilities. There's other things that we need to take care of. Because as this progresses, it's going to become more intense. And again, I'm not seeing that in a bad way, because sometimes that intensity, that could be like love bombing, not getting any of that. But it does feel like as it progresses, it does get more intense and it does get more deep for the both of you. Let's take a look at how you complement each other. So in this relationship, in this connection, how does my pile number 3 and their person complement each other? How do they complement each other? Bottom of the deck, the Six of Pentacles. I do think you both have a good balance between the both of you that is very equal. I do think there's an equal give and take here. I do think you both show up for one another in like equal measures. I also think there is an understanding between the two of you and the type of connection and how you want to give and receive love. Let's take a look at what else we have here. The Seven of Wands, the Knight of Swords, the Knight of Cups. Yeah, I do think for this group, you both understand the importance of your independence. I do think that there is a level of intensity here, but there's also a recognition of I want to keep my independence. I want to be independent and I want to pace this in a way that feels comfortable. I do think for this connection, my viewer, you are going to be the one to pace it. You are going to be the one where the ball is going to be in your court. How you decide to move forward with this person is going to follow your lead as far as the pacing. I do also think that you both have other things that are going to be outside of the relationship, whether that is like a project, work, business, entrepreneurship, finances. For someone here, you may be a parent that is going to take up some time and energy, and there's going to be that recognition, that respect of I know you have other things. I know you have other things that you have to take care of. I also think that this is a group where both of you are a great match when it comes to romance, when it comes to intimacy, like what you need, what you expect. I do think you both are a very good match for each other because there is that understanding. And I do think that there is a level of, I need reassurance from time to time. I need space from time to time. Sometimes I need to maybe cancel plans or like change plans. Whatever it is for you specifically, the other person is not only going to understand it, they're going to be okay with it, right? Because sometimes they can accept it or they can kind of like say they're okay with it, but they start to build resentment. I don't think that's the case at all here. It feels like you both have equal footing and equal understanding of each other's needs in this connection. And I also think that your energy levels are very similar. And your definition of romance is very similar. So that's going to help, like that complements one another in the connection. Let's take a look at the mirror. So what is this person going to reflect back to you? What will they mirror back to you? For my pile number threes, what's going to be mirrored back to my pile number threes? Bottom of the deck, pile that Two of Pentacles again. Very interesting. Six of Wands. The Star card. Ace of Cups. One thing that's going to mirror back to you, or I should say in an area that this person is going to hold a mirror up to you, is when it comes to the way that they love you, the way that they care about you, the way that they show up for you. I do think there's going to be this very big, this is what love looks like, this is what love feels like, and this is how I love you and how I show up for you. And I think in a way it gives you, I don't want to say it shows you how to love yourself, because I do think pile number three, you know how to do that. But I think it gives you even more of a reason to love yourself and to honor yourself and to put yourself first. I also think that this person, it's going to be like they are going to allow you to see yourself through their eyes and through the eyes of love. And I think that that's something that you can also do for them, where The way that this person sees you is so full of love, so full of care, so full of admiration that they almost hold back that mirror where you can see yourself through their eyes and you can see how much beauty, how much love, how much just wonderful things you bring to their life. I also think that this person is going to mirror back to you the potential for this relationship, like the potential that you have in a relationship and the potential for long term success here, not only when it comes to the relationship, but I think that when it comes to your own endeavors, if you will. And I think this person is going to mirror back the ways in which you can love yourself and you can put yourself first, and how important it is to also put yourself first so that you can give to someone else, so that you are not giving from an empty cup. I want to see what's underneath here, the Two of Wands. This person is going to help you step out of your comfort zone as well and try new things. And I think this person is going to help you feel more comfortable in your own skin. And what's funny is I think you give them the same thing. I think you give them that sense of belonging, that sense of understanding, and truly being seen and accepted for who you both are. Let's take a look at how you're going to experience joy and happiness together in this relationship. So, how will my pile number threes experience love and happiness? Sorry, joy and happiness together? Bottom of the deck, we have that Magician there again. One thing that I think is beautiful is that it feels very intentional for both of you to create happiness and joy in this relationship. And I think that's going to be a beautiful thing. We have the Queen of Pentacles. We have the Five of Pentacles, the Ten of Pentacles, and the King of Swords. So, as far as how you are going to experience joy and happiness together, I think a big thing is you're both going to have someone that is going to have your back. You're both going to have someone that you can do things with, that you can go out with, that you can have a good time with. And I think a big thing for this group is going to be that you're not going to be alone. You're not going to have to do life alone. You are going to have somebody who is going to be a partner to you. You're going to have someone that you can go out with, plan things with, travel with. You're going to have someone that you can spend your days with. I also think that for some of you, and we will look at the potential at the end of the reading, but for some of you, this may be something that there is a family that you create. There is, this could be a life partner for some of you. And the way that you bring joy and happiness into your lives together, or the way that you experience it together, is by understanding one another, understanding what you both need, and being very intentional about creating what you need in this relationship and creating opportunities and experiences that you both want to experience. Like, I do think this is the type of connection where, like, if there's a dream destination or a dream vacation that you've been dying to go on and you've never done it because you didn't want to go alone and you didn't have any friends that wanted to go, that's the type of thing that you can do with this person. Or even at a smaller level, just, I want to come home and I want to have somebody to cook with, or I want to have somebody to have dinner with. That's going to be something that this relationship is able to offer. So it's both of you being very intentional about how you want to experience that joy and that happiness, and then creating those moments to do exactly that. And a big part of that is having someone to do things with, having someone that you're not going to have to feel alone, or you're not going to have to do things alone and feel like left out. Let's take a look at your love language together. So for my pile number threes, what is my pile number three's love language together? I want to cut that one more time for some reason. What is my pile number three's love language together? How will my pile number threes and their person express their love? We're going to do two. Bottom of the deck, the Queen of Wands. Acts of service, I think, is a big one. The Six of Cups. Three of Swords. I do think for this group, acts of service. I also think quality time for this group. Acts of service, quality time. I do think a little bit of words of affirmation as well, but I do think acts of service and quality time. I also do think that for some of you, take this as it resonates, like some sort of like back rub or foot rub may be part of how you or your person shows love, how you like show that you are there for your person, how you demonstrate love. I do think for this group, being in proximity, so that quality time, being around one another, is going to be super important. I would not be surprised if both of you enjoy, like, let's go food shopping together, let's go to the gym together, let's go for a walk together. I do think that this is also a group where you being with the other person, especially as the relationship progresses, is going to bring a sense of peace and calm into your lives. Like you're going to feel more grounded, you're going to feel more secure the more time that you are able to spend with one another. I also think that for this group, words of affirmation and I think reassurance is going to be a big one. Because I do think that both of these people do kind of struggle with anxiety from time to time or some level of overthinking, overanalyzing. So having that reassurance, not only through words, but through that person acting what they are saying, right? Like through that person putting their words into action and seeing it through. Let's take a look at the growth here. So how will this connection change you? This is about you, the viewer. How is this connection, how is this relationship going to change your life? How is this connection for my pile number three is going to change their lives? You know what? I will take three. I was going for two, but three wanted to come out, the World card. King of Pentacles. Nine of Swords. Eight of Pentacles. Pile number three, I think that this is a relationship that is going to change the way that you view relationships, and it's also going to change almost your world, at least your world up until the point of this relationship, because I do think that this is a relationship that is going to help you feel more comfortable. I also think that this is a relationship that is going to help you ascend to the next level of your experience in a way. There's going to be a lot of joy here. I do also think that through this relationship, you are going to feel more whole, more complete within yourself. There is a good potential here for a happily ever after. Obviously, we are talking about we're talking about how it's going to change your life, and we're going to look at the potential next. But I do think for some of you, there is, I would say for a good amount of you, there is a potential for this to be something that lasts a very long time. I do also think that when it comes to this relationship, it's going to change your life because it's going to help you feel more confident, more comfortable with yourself. It's also going to bring in a sense of security into your life. I do think for this group, this relationship, you being with one another, is going to very much ease any sort of anxiety that you may struggle with, or any sort of how do I want to word this? Because I think there's anxiety here, but I also think there may be a level of like feeling left out, feeling alone, feeling like you don't belong. And I think that this connection, especially for you, the viewer, is going to bring in more confidence and more of a sense of belonging. And I think that your day-to-day life is going to absolutely change as a result of this connection, because I think that you've been used, pile number 3, to doing a lot of things on your own and having to be maybe even a little bit hyper independent, where it's going to feel more balanced here, and it's going to feel more grounded. And I also think that this is a opportunity for you to kind of align more to what you to the life that you viewed for yourself, the life that you wanted for yourself. Let's take a look at the potential here. So what is your potential together in this relationship? What is the potential that you have together? We have the High Priestess. Very interesting. The Lovers, the Page of Swords. As always, I like to say this for every single reading, every single pile. What happens here is going to be what both of you make it. You both are the co-creators. As far as your potential together, we do have the Lovers card here. We do have the Page of Swords, and we also have the High Priestess. So I do think there is a very good potential for something long-term, for something that can stand the test of time. I also think that for this group, it's going to be very important to keep the communication channels open and to make sure that you are talking through everything as it comes up. I also think that the High Priestess is here because you're going to be able to create what you want. You're going to be able to manifest it in the way that you want, as long as both of you are on the same page. And in order for both of you to be on the same page, keeping that communication going is going to be essential. And I do think that there is potential for some of you where there's an engagement, there's a marriage here, this is a life partner. Obviously, both of you have to be on board for that, but I do think you both will be for most of you. I also think that no matter what type of potential this is or how long this lasts, it's going to be a relationship that really does shift your life and that really does feel like a blessing, like something that you were meant to experience. Pile number 3. Before I pick the Oracle cards, yeah. I do think the long-term potential is very, very good here. But I also think it's important not to force anything in this connection, in this relationship, to allow it to unfold naturally. But let's see what we have here. Longing. Someone is secretly yearning for you. So for some of you, if you know this person, that could be a message about them. For others of you, I think that you've been yearning for this, you've been longing for this, and you may be getting a little bit impatient. Just know that it's on its way to you. Yeah, see, patience. Everything will unfold in divine timing. So especially if you don't know who this is and you're just sick and tired of waiting, I think like the patience, but also, finding that middle ground of also taking action, doing what you are guided to do, putting yourself out there. Then we have forgiveness. Forgiving yourself or another will help you move forward. So also, if there is anything that's coming up that requires forgiveness or that requires your attention, dealing with that. But I think this forgiveness is just allowing yourself to be exactly where you are at and knowing that you haven't missed out on anything, that what is meant for you is it's going to find you. It can't be taken from you. Then we have law of attraction. You've been manifesting this relationship. Everything you want will soon be yours. Yeah. I do think for my pile number 3s, this is something that you have been actively manifesting. Let's see what else we have here. True love. This is the romance of a lifetime. True and lasting love is here for you. Yeah, I do feel like this is one of those like true love. This is somebody that you are really in alignment with. Then we have express your love. It is important to let people know that you love them. You have nothing to lose. And I think that when you connect to this person, it's going to be so important to tell each other how you feel, to reassure one another, but also starting to express that love for yourself, for other people that are in your life that you love already. Even if you haven't met this person, I think can be very important in creating a shift. Let's see what else we have here. So we have the rebirth card. More boobs. Goodness me. Hold on. Didn't notice that at first. We have the rebirth card there, so I do think there is a rebirth happening in your life in general, but especially when it comes to love and relationships. And then we have openness. So being open, being vulnerable, being authentic as you connect with people. And it's important to be discerning, but also not closing yourself off to the point where no one can get close is very important. Pile number 3. Let's see what else we have here. We have maturity. I make peace with the tough relationships of my past. I probably would have skipped the pain that they came with, but I'm grateful for the lessons they brought me. Because of those tough relationships, I can look back at the mosaic of my life and see the value even in the most broken pieces. Internet stalk my exes. I really dodged a bullet. Yeah. So if there is something around past relationships and how they ended up happening and how they unfolded, that could be the forgiveness card there, if it has to do with that. We also have open-heartedness. I know that that life and the people living it can be an absolute bummer sometimes, but I promise not to let unhappy chapters make me jaded. If I let negative experiences turn me sour, then the jerks win. So I'll move on with an open and hopeful heart, if only because I hate losing to the jerks. That's a good one, right? Like, I'm not letting anyone else dictate. No one else has that power or control over me. Then finally, we have perspective. What does a hawk see when it flies over your house besides the family of mice living nearby that you don't know about? What will your current problems, conflicts, complaints look like when you are 80 years old and you gaze back at the timeline of your life? In this moment, you are being given the gift of clear perspective, of knowing that in the end, everything is going to be probably much better than okay. Think large enough and even big issues become small. Become an 80-year-old hawk and you're really on to something. I love that. Pile number 3, claim it in the comments. I approach love with an open heart. I approach love with an open heart. That is your affirmation for the week. Claim it in the comments. Pile number 3, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Share the video if you think it's worth sharing. Let me know what you'd like to see next. All of those things help the channel out so much, and I do keep a running list. Stay tuned for the poll for next week's reading. That's going to be up very, very soon. But thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. I am sending so much love, so many blessings, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now.